We can define adequate housing in Mexico as a safe space, easy to find, and affordable. It should include access to basic services such as potable water, electricity, and transportation. In Costa Rica, adequate housing ensures safety, dignity, and well being. It should be resistant to environmental risk and provide access to basic services such as potable water, electricity, and sanitation. Also, it should respect cultural traditions and support social inclusion. Some considerations is that in Mexico, housing prices in the major cities are disproportionately high compared to average incomes. Also, buying or renting a home has become nearly impossible for young people, and as a result, many young adults continue living with their parents. This has led to a common trend of self construction to expand their homes. However, this solution comes with a serious risk. And in Costa Rica, there is a high land prices in urban areas, making home ownership difficult. Lack of affordable rental options, forcing many families of an informal settlement.
And now the activity we select on behalf of Mexico and Costa Rica to introduce the topic is called Adequate Housing Real Estate Strategy Workshop. The main objectives of the activity are to develop an innovative course that can propose housing solutions aligned with real world demands, to strengthen decision making by integrating principles of affordability, sustainability, accessibility, and adequacy, to engage professional decision makers and community members in an interactive exploration of adequate housing. And finally, to present examples of successful social housing projects that have been developed in different parts of the country. The format we'll be using is a 4-hour workshop with 30 participants, 10 from each group, decision makers, community members, and affordability specialists. It will include role-playing discussions and case-based learning to encourage active participation and collaboration. And to begin, we will start with a brief presentation of the concept of adequate housing. This will include case studies of successful projects in the USA, Mexico, and Costa Rica. The goal of this first part is to ensure that all participants are familiar with the concept and understand why is it essential, not only as a theoretical framework, but as a real factor that impacts people's lives directly.
So we're gonna be having a presentation of the case of study, and then we're gonna be dividing the participants into multiple groups with all the sectors, and they will actually gonna be using different topics like low income housing, transitional housing, co-livings, or any other, and they have to develop a proposal based on their case of study, and they actually will gonna be working with all multiple standards like affordability, accessibility, sustainability, or any other specifications, and then they will actually gonna be explaining their highlights and their key aspects to create a conversation with all the members and to develop another kind of strategies. So in this conversation, actually every person will gonna be having a role playing, like an elderly and young professional, a low income people, or any other kind of role. They actually gonna be describing 3 notes to every model, a non-negotiable, an optional, and something that you want to add to these kind of models that actually can create a discussion with other teams, and they gonna be having this kind of materials with print case studies documents, housing policy and financing reference sheets, a presentation of and technological material to create their proposals, markers, whiteboards, sticky notes, pencils, papers, eraser, and other materials that could be necessary for this kind of proposals. Finally, we have the expected outcomes that actually can be defined in 2 bigger groups. The first one is the increase of the awareness to other needs in affordable housing, and the second one is the practical understanding of real estate projects and needs of the population in specific cases, like in every region or any country, that actually could create this kind of workshops in their zones.
Also, we thought about measure outcomes of these expected outcomes. We thought measuring the increased awareness of other needs in affordable housing. For this, we specifically thought conducting surveys and pre-post assessments. Conduct surveys before and after educational programs, campaigns, or interventions to measure knowledge gain. Conducting questions, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, how aware are you of diverse needs in affordable housing. Also, engagement metrics, track the participation in discussions, workshops, or community forums. Also, measure the number of people attending events or engaging with content in social media, comments, or even downloads of the resources we share. Also, policy or decision changes. Obviously, if people care and understand the problem, they are going to want to change or add new policies to help this. Monitor if organizations, developers, or policymakers show increased interest or changes in priorities related to affordable housing. For example, the adoption of new policies addressing underrepresented needs. And second one, in measuring practical understanding of real estate projects and needs, we opt to use case study analysis and problem-solving assessment. So we present real-life housing challenges and evaluate how well participants propose solutions, and also measure their ability to apply knowledge to a specific cases. For example, designing a project for low-income families, so they understand about needs and understand about budget and more. Also, professional and stakeholders feedback. It's also really good to have investment, and for that we need investors, so it's really good to have professional and investors giving us feedback, getting insights from developers, architects, and also policymakers on whether participants understand and address real estate needs effectively. Also, the implementation of concepts in real-world projects. So we track the number of projects influenced by new insights gained throughout awareness campaigns and trainings. For example, X% of real estate professionals adjusted their housing models based on new affordable insights. This to see basically something change or like transform from one way to a new way after understanding the whole problem.